Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we've had a bit of an unstable time on this latest patch. We've had a couple of crashes recently, which is unusual for sure. We also had a civil war, which was very sad. It hurt our economy dramatically. We've got some unrealized taxes going on here, and we've got some interest that we need to pay off. So we've also got high infamy at this moment. We've got some work to do. So this episode, we're going to chill, and we're going to work on getting that done. Our private constructions are going reasonably nicely, and we should be seeing this number tick upwards due to changing production methods over a fairly decent amount of time. So that should be relatively good. We're already almost making more than we're paying on interest, so what are we... 68.4 was what that was? Now 68.2? That's not as much as I was hoping per week, but it's not bad. We're definitely seeing our standard of living coming back up as well, so that looks reasonably good. Gaza is currently damaging relations. I don't really care about that. But now that we've ticked this a few times, I want to check on our taxation levels and our infrastructure levels. Okay. If we were to resume construction right now, what would that put us at financially? Minus 200k? That is fairly non-viable at this moment. Okay. So we're going to have to let that work through for a little bit. Our GDP is super low compared to what it was. It'll need time to recover. No doubt about that. So I want to check in on our budgets here. I would love to put in another consumption tax. We don't have any ability to do so. Are these the best consumption taxes that we can get? No, in fact. Tobacco would be better than luxury clothes. So we should definitely remove that one, and we should put in... Oh, we're at -1. That's rude. We're one authority away from being able to put that in. Regardless, we should just remove all of these at this point, and we should redo these. So, we would put in tobacco for 22.5. We would put in liquor for 23.5. We would put in porcelain. And then that's all we can do for the moment. That's still a net positive for us. And we're positive in our authority, which is fine, I guess. Do we want to work on a law change right now? Our laws are getting to the place where they're pretty much where we want them. Almost. I'd like to go to elected bureaucrats. We don't have any option to do that right now. Indeed, there's no way to currently do that. I would also like to move to multiculturalism. There's no way to do that at the moment right now either. Do we want to move to something like free trade? That'll radicalize the rural folk. I would rather not do that at this moment. So maybe we just chill. Is there anything that's relatively uncontroversial? I mean, poor laws. I'd rather not do welfare payments right now, though. So I think for the moment, we're going to have to just wait. Cool. Our economy is definitely in recovery. There's no doubt about that. There's a Man of War's input goods shortage. That's kind of exciting. I would really like to resume our construction here, but this is going to be... at this point, like 160 weeks, right? Until we get this debt paid off at the current rate. That's a lot. That's a lot of weeks. However, our bureaucracy is improving. It's getting better. By no means is it ideal, but it's getting better. Okay, so that's reasonably fine. Wait, did I just see 3 government administrations queued up in Yemen? I did. There's no reason to have these. Cool. We've got 2 queued up in Somaliland. We really only need the 1. We don't even need that, honestly. And then there's 1 queued up in Gondar. That is unnecessary. We're going to need some in Oromia. Like 10. And then in Amhara, we're going to need, I think, like 8? Yeah, something along those lines. 7 or 8. We'll do 8. And then, of course, we're going to need some railways. Did they delete our universities? Hang on. Yeah, of course they did. So we'll have to work that back up as well. Railways are going to be an issue. So we're going to work on those. We'll need 2 here, although this is really more of an employment issue, isn't it? This should be subsidized. In Equatoria, this is also an employment issue. Although this is growing, so we don't need to subsidize that. In Chad, this is probably still an employment issue. Actually, I know what the problem is here. Hang on. I know what the problem is exactly. We're going to come in here and delete that railway and make sure that there aren't any others queued up here. There's all of these, but that's reasonably fine. So the problem here, the reason why we're having that infrastructure issue is because we're on wooden passenger carriages, right? Instead of steel passenger carriages. No, that wouldn't do it. That would actually go the opposite direction. That should make it worse. But we're going to have more income from it. Right? That should make it worse? It should. We'll see how it goes. But we're making 138k right now. If we were to continue our construction, we would be at minus 67.8. And what is our interest? 64.4. Okay. This is a viable thing then. Cool. Servicemen become more loyalist. Cool. We'll definitely take some loyalism. Our GDP has recovered almost back to the pre-war levels. That's looking definitely solid. Very, very good there. It's going to take us some time here. No doubt about that. 140k right now. So we're definitely cruising along on getting this done. But the deletion of those universities sucks. That will be problematic for us, for sure. We're definitely seeing our economy growing by leaps and bounds right now. And it's going to grow a lot more once we start our construction again. So that's looking good. 146k right now. 15 million in debt. So it's going to take about 100 weeks right now to pay this off, or roughly 2 years. And this is going to continue to improve, right? So we're gaining about 600 per week just from paying off interest. That's really solid. For the moment, I'm interested in just continuing to get that all paid off. Yeah, we do have some unrealized taxes. That is understood. The majority of our costs are indeed interest. I mean, government wages is up there, right? But interest is definitely the biggest thing here. We need to get that dealt with. For a second there, I thought the game froze again. No, it did not. That is good. Luckily, the autosave in Vic is pretty frequent, so we haven't had major issues from the crashing. That's good. But hopefully Paradox gets this under control, because this has been very unstable. I didn't have problems with this patch in the beginning of it, but yikes. All of a sudden, the last couple versions have been rough. Maybe it's to do with the fact that this is a game from an older save. Maybe. But I kind of doubt it. So we're definitely seeing our standard of living recover as well. That's going to be extremely good for our radicalism. Yeah, look at that. Extremely good for our radicalism. So we're at 162k right now, down to 55.2k in interest weekly. Beautiful. If we were to resume now, we would be at minus 33k. That's starting to look viable. We're not quite to the point where I want to pull the trigger on that. We definitely want to pay down our interest a little bit more. But how are things looking railway-wise? It definitely needs work. Amhara is still hiring in. Okay. So for now, that seems reasonably fine. Do we have anything to use additional transportation? We're on public motor carriages right now. Yeah, I want to use this additional transportation. Even though that we would, in theory, gain 114k for this, I don't think we have the laborers. Actually, we have about 2 million unemployed pops. 2 million unemployed pops. That's a lot of unemployed pops. Okay, we have a lot of economic headroom here then. That is good to know. That is very, very good to know. So we need to get those pops to work. That needs to be a top priority. If we resume right now, we'd be building these government administrations into fishing wharves. And we're at 380 construction. Okay. It looks like they deleted a little bit of our construction. I'm not going to be concerned about that right now. So we need to be at about plus 200k to be able to pull this off. The main question right now, I wish we had an unemployment graph. That would be really nice to see. The main question now is, what is the unemployment trend doing while we're not constructing? Are these people getting hired elsewhere? Or is it just holding firm? It's increasing. Okay. So with that knowledge, 29.2k in construction goods, yes. I want to resume construction here. 38.1k. We also have access to additional oil rigs in Darfur. But is this the correct priorities here? We're building in Oromia, Amhara, government administrations. And that does appear to be correct. Then infrastructure requires some work. Particularly in Amhara, where we need about 11. Like that. One in Somaliland looks good. One in Gondar. Eritrea is going to need 4. And then these should be reasonably fine. Okay. That should be what we need. I want to prioritize, what is the construction efficiency in Darfur? Okay, let's prioritize the railways and government administrations for the time being. Let's move the fishing wharves down to the bottom, and then the lead mines. We're going to keep these oil rigs here. I want this oil rig moved up a little bit. These railways can be moved up in priority. These oil rigs would be moved up as well. So these railways would get moved up. These ports would get moved up in theory as well. This barracks would get canceled. We don't want to build that barracks right now. Railway goes up. Textile mill goes down. Lead mine goes down. Fishing wharves become like the bottom priority here. Yes. Approximately like this. So railways are the top priority, followed by government administrations at this moment. And we do have some negative construction efficiency in some of these areas, but I think that's reasonably okay. What is our unrealized taxes? 36.9k. Okay, I'm changing my mind on the government administrations then. The government administrations should be moved up. And we'll do them, then the railways. Is the way this is going to work. So there is a government administration hanging out over here that can be moved up. The ports I canceled a railway there, but that's okay, I guess. The ports I'm going to cancel for right now. We're just going to get them out of there. And the real question is, are we going to continue to wait here on our construction? 49.6k in interest. There's a lot of unrealized taxes, and we really do need to get our population put to work, right? But I don't want to be building up additional interest here. That would be bad. So I think we do have to wait here. Okay. How are we doing on that infamy? Yeah, 46.9. That's going to be up for a while. We're not looking to expand here for a while. We definitely need work here. So we can also incorporate, we're working on incorporating Yemen. Okay, that's 18 years away. That's not shocking. So that's reasonably fine. 181k right now. Looking solid. We continue to pay down our debts. Then once we hit 200k in income, we resume our construction. That allows us to start putting people to work, which also allows us to harvest these unrealized taxes while still paying down our interest here. That's the overall concept. It's going to be a whole thing. We just hit 200K here. Is that good enough? For now, it is, actually. Okay, so we're continuing to pay down our debt and constructing simultaneously. This is a very big deal. So all of these government administrations, each one of these is going to net us 260 bureaucracy. No, that's a total modifier. Is it 60 each? 65 each. So how many government administrations do we have queued here? We have 19. Okay, pulling up a calculator. 19 times 65 is 1,235 bureaucracy. Okay, that'll definitely pull us positive in our bureaucracy here. That's a good sign. That's a very good sign. Also, this needs to get updated. It'll be updated once some of these finish. So we're building exclusively government administrations right now. We're going to get a bunch of railways going soon. We do have a bunch of market access that we can harvest as well. So we have a lot of economic headroom here. We have a lot of unemployment that we need to put to work. And we're probably going to have to expand our construction a little bit. But now is not the time for that. The hard times, huh? Actually, we can do an emergency relief decree in Aromia. That is something that we can do. So we can put that in. That'll only cost 75 authority. We have the authority to do that. So we'll put that straight on in. Cool. That does bring us slightly negative financially. However, once we get these government administrations done in 4 weeks, we should be fine. Oh, City of Plenty indeed. Cool, we'll get more loyalists. That sounds good. We now have more loyalists than we have radicals, so that's looking excellent. Magnificent, in fact. Yes, paying that welfare is a bit painful. 20K is what we're paying in welfare right now. So we're working on the Great Hunger, and we need to raise our standard of living by 3 points. It is making its way up. Funny how we're above our minimum expected for all of these. Okay, sure. But there's those government administrations finishing up. And, of course, that puts us in a decent level of bureaucracy, and we're now making money. Magnificent. So we're going to get this government administration done. We're at 1.33K for bureaucracy right now, and we've immediately put a bunch of people to work. So that is looking great. Now we need to get these railways done, but do we want to think about expanding our construction back out? Yes, but only by one. I'm just going to get the one construction sector in Gondar for now. That'll do. Cool. Now, we could definitely work up an institution here. What do we want to go for, say, health system? What do we want to go for workplace safety office? Home affairs. Home affairs sounds good. Actually, let's work all of these up for now. This is probably going to put us at a net negative of our bureaucracy, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So now I want to check in on government administrations, and we can see we're doing fine for taxation capacity across the board. There's barely any unrealized taxes right now. That's looking solid. There's a revolution in Arabia. That's okay. And we're slowly paying down our debt at this point. We don't have to rapidly pay it down as long as we're working on paying it down. We can actually afford to expand this out a little bit further. I want to sort by labor. Gondar is the location to build this. Okay. We were at 410 previously for our construction, if I recall correctly. I think we were at 410. So I would like to just slowly creep our way towards returning to that number. And maybe bringing it up a little bit higher. Cool. So we're working towards mechanized farming right now. A coal-fired power plant would not be considered beneficial at this moment. And actually, looking at this income right now, we can definitely bump this up again. At least once. But I think I'm not going to for the moment. We'll just sit here for right now, and we'll see where this takes us. 400, 405. Okay. We definitely need to be seeing these unemployment numbers drop. Actually, our annual projected pop growth is really bad. I'm guessing that has to do with this famine. Likely. That likely has to do with the famine. Okay, so market access is still a problem, right? We're working on all of these railways. That's going to take some time to work our way through. And then we've got all of these oil rigs. The oil rigs are going to be very, very important. And then we've got, you know, anything else beyond that. That'll be fine for the moment. So the railways are going to help market access a lot. Ethiopian Gabon is at 34. I feel like this really, really needs to be subsidized. Done. So we'll get that subsidized. What else would we need? The rest of these I think are okay. They're all chilling at that same 63 number. Yeah, that now goes up to 63. So that's probably shipping lane effectiveness then, isn't it? Or access to the shipping lane, perhaps? Something along those lines. I think we can afford an additional construction sector at this time. So we'll go for that. We're at 405 construction currently. And we definitely need to continue to work on that. Our unemployment is still going up. So we need to work on that unemployment. Oil rigs in Yemen, our construction efficiency is not great in Yemen, but it is better. 41.7 right now. Is that just due to turmoil? Yeah, pretty much turmoil. Okay. Well, we're going to continue to work on that. That'll slowly drop down, but I do want to get these oil rigs done. So our railways are going to be finishing soon. And I think we're not going to be seeing better market access than this for the moment. Like if we go over to Gondar, yeah. So we can see here that the market access is just the shipping lane effectiveness, right? So that's reasonably fine. Do we have any way to protect shipping lanes against convoy raiders? Yeah, we don't have any flotillas. So for the moment, that's fine. Did they delete our naval base? No, it just doesn't have anyone working in it, I guess. There are 50,000 people unemployed here. 239 people working here. It's garrisoned. Why doesn't this guy have a flotilla? We should have one ship. I don't know why this guy doesn't have it, but sure? That's a little strange. But okay. So, all of these railways are finishing up. How are we looking on our infrastructure now? Much better. It looks like Darfur is going to need to be subsidized. So we'll do that for the time being. Ethiopian Gabon probably... Okay, that is subsidized. Chad might need to be subsidized. Yeah, we'll do that. Hey, minus loan interest rate and plus minting. That's very good for us. So we'll subsidize in Chad. What about Ethiopian Congo? Yes, this needs to be subsidized. Which apparently that's currently free. Okay. So Ethiopian Congo was subsidized. Otherwise, this looks good. Maybe Wadai needs to be subsidized as well. 1.64k. Nope, I'll pass on that one. Okay. So that's looking good for the time being. We're also on privately owned, right? We would actually be slightly better off now to go to publicly traded for our railways. So we'll work on that. This furniture manufactory should be expanding, so should this tooling workshop. Auto-expanding, anyway. And that all looks great. Okay. So we're going to be finishing up these railways in 5 weeks. Oil rigs are in progress, but it is definitely slowed down due to the construction efficiency in Yemen. Is Darfur ticking up in construction efficiency? Apparently. Well, I don't know. 48.4%. 48.35. Okay. So that's definitely looking better. No doubt about that. Standard of living is coming up, but it's not as high as I'd like to be. We could start thinking about cutting taxes. And I think that does make sense to start cutting taxes. We're about where I want to be in terms of construction, I feel like. At least for the moment. That may end up changing at some point. But I think cutting taxes here makes some amount of sense. As long as we don't dip too negative. But once we have these oil rigs finishing, yeah, there we're back positive. Once we have more oil rigs finishing, this is going to be absolutely fine. So how many oil rigs do we have queued up here? Quite a number is the answer. But we certainly want to get those going. No doubt about that. The Social Democratic Party was newly formed. We have an election starting up soon. Trade unions are no longer powerful. We're just hard chilling at this point. We're working on getting our economy back under control after that rather insane revolution. But we managed to win it through the help of Britain. Okay. Do we want to go to steam-powered threshing machines? Let's do it for now. Yeah, for the moment, this will be good. We're on free peasants. Yes, that is correct. We're on homesteading and home workshops. That is also correct. All of that looks reasonably fine for the moment. Okay. So our oil rigs are, at this point, about 20 weeks away from fully finishing. And yes, construction efficiency is low out here. That's understood. Workplace Safety Office goes up to level 2. Home Affairs goes up to level 3. Health System goes to level 2. That does hurt our bureaucracy a decent amount. We may want to consider building additional government administrations at some point and getting some extra taxation. We're quite positive on our taxation capacity, though, in most of these areas. So that seems reasonably fine for the moment. The rising of the women, huh? Dependent enfranchisement and 20% momentum to the Free Trade Party. Or 10% momentum and 20% dependent enfranchisement. Dependent enfranchisement is fine. Oil was discovered in the Trucial Coast. That's not anything that we have control of. That's out over here. So for the moment, that's fine. And our oil rigs are definitely finishing up in Yemen. Our Darfur oil rigs are being worked on still. That was the French fighting the British? Did I just see that correctly? Yes. And the French declared it. I don't feel like that goes well for the French. But okay. If that's what they want to do, sure. Seems reasonably fine. So we're continuing to work on paying down our interest, right? But we've got some additional work to do on that, no doubt about it. We have a lot of economic headroom here, though. So much. Our unemployment numbers are currently growing, as is our pop growth, which is expected at this moment. So we are certainly going to need additional job growth. That means more construction. I'm going to put 3 more in Gondar. We should be able to economically support that, in theory. So we're going to expand our construction sectors a little bit more. And once we're done building in Yemen here, we actually do have a few railways down this way that probably should be canceled. Hang on. Well, yeah. Let's cancel these railways for the time being. I'm going to make sure that railways are not auto-constructing. They are not. Okay. And now we know that we're going to need... Well, we know that we're going to need... This needs to be subsidized here. Which is sad. It's mostly the price of coal that's giving us that issue there. We don't need one in Eritrea. Oromia, we arguably need one. Yeah, I think we do. And then in Amhara, we arguably need like 2, maybe 3. We'll do something like that. Okay. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to revel in the fact that we managed to get this recovered. I'm quite pleased with that. We're also going to need to work on our universities, which we may want to queue up at least a couple of them right now, just to remind me of that. I'll queue up 8 in Gondar right now. Okay. With that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I already said what we were going to do next episode. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point. So I'm just going to say, you can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, James, Shadowwolf, Mlohan80, Rogue Corvid, Kintogan, Andy Magar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.